Hey, it's for Marie. Welcome to another crafty Christmas sewing special. Hashtag festivefridaysews. This is episode 32, and it's actually, I would say, part 2 of my last episode that featured the Copenhagen hat. So in that episode, I kind of walked you through the process of constructing that hat, which is super easy for beginner sewists and a great holiday gift or January gift or cold month, cold weather must have. So in this episode, I'm talking more about some embellishments, maybe a hack or just some add-ons to that hat. Now in the hat, you have an option for a bobble top or like a tie top. And I did a tie top, and then the other hats they wanted them simple on the top. But what I thought would be fun is to embellish them with like a fun flower on the side. So this is kind of a hands-on tutorial where I show you how I make a ribbon, like a lollipop flower, and also just kind of a shabby chic tattered rose flower that you can put on your hat. So this would be an example of one. So if you are interested in the tutorial, then stay tuned. Okay, so first let's work on finishing up the child's hat with the tie top. I'm going to choose that over the bubble top. And basically that just requires 2 strips that are 12 inches in length and 1/2 inch in width. And also this centimeter equivalent is on the directions for this pattern. And basically you're just tying the ends together and threading them through from the inside of the hat through the top. I tried that though, and when you tie them together in a knot, because this is a blanket fleece, it was a bit bulky, and I thought that that knot on the top would disturb the child. So I just went ahead and did a quick, kind of like when you stitch, let me see if I can get this on screen, when you stitch elastic together, I just did 2 rows of stitching really quickly, and that should hold it no problem. And now I'm going to go ahead, and you want to make sure that you're threading it through with each end so that you'll have something to tie the bow with. So just going to go in, that's where you have that opening, because you're not sewing, remember, the seams together, you're leaving that 1 centimeter from the top open so that you actually have the opportunity to add the embellishments on the top of the hat. Okay, so I'm going to pull it through all the way till I feel that center seam, which is right about there. Now I'm ready to do the second strip. And this one I might need to use a little tool to help me because good old pencil. Okay, so the next thing that I thought would be fun to do is to embellish, just put a little accent flower on one of the little corners. This side is so cute, but the heart was facing down. This side is a little bit plain. This side looks good, and the heart is facing up. Right. All right, so what you see is you see a snap that I sewed on the lower portion of the hat's rim, because I'm going to add an embellishment that you can't necessarily put in the washing machine. So let me show you what I have. I've made these and just tucked them away for a later date. Originally, I think it was for some scrapbooking projects, but I'm going to use it on this hat. So these are those little ribbon, they're like the little circular discs, and then I added like a little rhinestone embellishment, again from the scrapbooking department. These I've had a long time. And just a basic gingham. I don't think this has a wire. No, it doesn't. But basically, I thought that this would make a really cute accent to the hat. And I ended up going with, there's no green in this, so that's a no. The purple would work, or the pink. And I think this is the one that I selected. I think she would like this one the best. So that's the one I'm going for. Really quickly, if you've never made one of these, you can use ribbon, but you can also use like some lace that's like a ruffle type lace. And the length that you cut really depends on the diameter of the flower. So for this particular, like if I wanted to use this would be more than enough to make a flower, and it measures out approximately like 10 inches, 10 inches or so. Okay, and then you would basically just take a running stitch and kind of gather this up, and it goes really fast. It's fun to do. You could do it with family. You could have a little helper, as long as they don't poke themselves with the needle. And you're just kind of gathering it up to create that circle. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one done, and I'll have a new flower to add to my collection. Then when you're finished, you're basically just going to join these together. Now you could take it to the sewing machine, or let me see, which side do I want? This is the right side, so actually I'm going to put these right sides together, the ends, and then I'll just do a quick whip stitch on these. So if you machine stitch it, it might harm the ribbon, so I would be careful regarding that. And I'm just taking this end, and you're just doing a quick, like a whip stitch. Okay, and so there you have it. It's really quick and easy, and that's basically how I created these, and then I made a bunch of them and put them in a little box to store them for future use. I think they might be called lollipop flowers, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. There's a name for these, but yeah, this one's cute, and it's obviously it's bigger in diameter because the lace that I used is larger in the width. So yeah, let's put that aside and then go back to this particular one that I've chosen. Now, again, this, let me see, there we go. This is not something you want to put in the washer because this blanket fleece can be gently washed and you can even line dry it. So I want to make sure that the parent can remove this. The rest of it's fine to just put into the wash. And this one is nice because you don't even see the stitches in the back because this is thick enough that I was able to tuck the stitches in within this rolled cuff hem. This is a little bit tricky to sew a snap in. Again, let me see if I can show you. Get it up there. This is a little bit tricky because of the gaps in the center. So what I did is I just took a little piece of that blanket fleece and I sewed this snap to that, and now I can go ahead and
since she's removing this, I can glue it if I wanted to, but I prefer to just sew it. But if you were in a pinch for time, you could probably just do a good fabric glue to this and let it set. Or you could also do like a fusible, some type of fusible interfacing to that. But if you pressed it, you'd have to be careful because, again, it depends on what you're using on the front. But I'm going to go ahead and just stitch this really quickly in a circular, just to follow the circle, and then it'll be ready. That was fun, easy, and quick. And now I have an additional embellishment that I've snapped on, and that is adorable. And this hat is finished. The second hat that I made is for the mama, so they're matching mother-daughter hats. So same blanket fleece fabric, and this time I added a tattered flower on it, kind of a shabby chic. I did not put a snap on this, I just hand stitched it on because it's all fabric with a button, so this should not be a problem in a light wash and low tumble, or just blanket fleece dries really, really quickly. So it would just have to be like air dried, but isn't this cute? So this hat, or this flower rather, was made with a scrapbooking tool. And this was one of my all-time favorites that I used so much. It is, let's see, I hope it's not upside down. I'm looking at it. It's flipped from the way I'm looking at it. But really quickly, it's Tim Holtz's Sizzix die, and this is Tattered Florals. So with this particular die cut, you can cut paper, but you can also cut fabric. So I had put a lot of these away and just kind of played with flowers. And so I just used different fabrics, like these are some little quilted from leftover scrap. I tried it with burlap. I tried it with just some chiffon type fabric, and they're different flower shapes that you basically layer just like you would if you were doing scrapbooking with paper. So yeah, you just lay them out, play around with them, and you make a layered flower. So for example, I wanted to do something kind of bridal themed, and this is just with some satin fabric, so pretty. You just lay the pieces on, and if you're doing scrapbooking, you can just glue them on. That's not a problem, and then you just do like a paper disc on the back. But for embellishing a garment, you really need to stitch those on, stitch the layers on, and then a button, maybe a button center. So that's what I did on this particular hat. Let me see if I have some other samples to show you. So for example, in this one, I used a brad, perfectly fine for scrapbooking, but I would recommend using something that can go in the washer and dryer. Here's a couple that are made with some embellishments like lace, burlap. This is a cute one. Another option, if you didn't have a die cut or you weren't interested in all of this labor intensive, I mean, it's not labor intensive, it's actually fun. It's really fun to do. But Jolie's Boutique has had some really cute options that you could use for embellishing. So this is like a chiffon, shabby chic. And on the back side, it's just got some foam core, but you would remove that, and then you would go ahead and you can stitch that on the hat. There are these, I've gotten these a long time ago, and they're denim flowers with buttons. Again, you can just take off any foam tape that might be on the back and stitch that on, or do the same thing and add a snap to the hat and a snap behind this so you can remove it. And let's see what my other options are. You could just maybe do some ribbon roses. If you didn't want to do a big flower, you could do some ribbon roses, which would be really, really cute on the hat. Let me see. I think for this particular one, I'm working on one in this color. You could do like a ribbon rose, would be really pretty. Jolie's Boutique. I had these that I saved from my stash, and these are great because they're like a knit fabric. This would be so pretty on like a wool hat. And what else? I've got some of this blanket fleece. I'm working on another one, so you could do a fun pink one. And then there's nothing to say to stop you from using the actual, if you have like a pattern where you can actually cut out some flower shapes, just freeform it. So you don't need to use a die cut if you don't have one. Use what's in your stash.
I hope that you are considering sewing up this hat, sewing up some flowers, and having fun wearing it and gifting it. I really should take this one off because it's actually a gift for one of my sisters. Thanks so much for watching, and have a really wonderful holiday. And I will see you next time in the sewing room. Bye.